Yes, yes. That's I should say that's my biggest fan. She's gonna be screaming by going. I wish I could put the mic like a bit lower on mine and higher on hers, but unfortunately I can't. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Bali Frequency podcast. I'm your host, Bali Shah, and today we have our first guest episode. This is my therapist, Aarti. But having my own therapist as my first guest on the pod is kind of a full circle. And it's just a kind of moment that you just kind of take a step back and reflect on where you started. And this is her. This is Aarti. My therapist, who I can never shut up about very honestly. She is also known as Healing with Aarti. So please give her a follow and trust me. There is a lot that we're going to be unpacking today. So, she is a therapist, she is an NLP coach, she's an Access Bars practitioner, and a Reiki master. Not just supporting her clients mentally, but also emotionally and energetically. What I love about her is that she meets people exactly where they are, creating space for growth, clarity, and real transformation. Therapy, her coaching, and her energy work. So, in this conversation today, we're going to dive in on how she combines therapy, her coaching, and her energy. We will also talk about potential integration of therapy in spaces like in hospitals, schools, hospice, nursing homes, where healing can do a lot more than we expect. So, Arthi, introduce yourself. Of which you've already said. So I will just add on to that yes, Aarti, I have been certified in psychology, studied psychology. I have done NLP, that's coaching. I have done Reiki master, whatever master teacher level. I have done the access course. I have the goodness about life now, things now, is technology has really brought out all the information so much to you. So there are so many other online courses that I've done that I'm doing through courses that actually add on to what work that I do. In terms of actual experiential work that I do is the sessions that involve the counseling and life coaching integrated together. I do Reiki classes. I do Reiki sessions on people. I do the Access Bars sessions as well. The most profound I feel is when I am adding in the Reiki and the Access Bars together. That's really, really deep. And I've also branched from Reiki a bit into doing the not tarot cards, but guidance cards and vaginal readings. First time I'm hearing about all the few qualifications that you mentioned, and I think it's just how the journey goes. Where when you begin, you're just like touching the surface, and then slowly it's like, no, I want to learn more. I want to learn more. I want to learn more, and you just start picking up all these things around you. So let's go right to the beginning. What's the beginning? Where it all started? Began. Where it all began, from very young, let's say about early teens, there was always this itch of wanting to see what the supernatural things are about. Um, and I remember telling myself I want to study one day. I really thought, like it's just you're born with it. Yeah. Only for me to then realize that it's a skill you have to that you can harness and keep improving. Yes. I feel like it's the same for intuition. Like everyone does have their intuition, but it's how much you trust your intuition and how much like tuning into it or refining it. And that's the process of it. Yes. Mid teenage years is when I did my first read. And well, my intention was first to just try it out with my family, myself, and seeing how it worked out. Well, I felt more happy that I was able to do something that felt in line with the husband things. And as I progressed with this thing when I finished school is when I did my second Reiki that helped me open up more, getting more experience on how to deal with people, how to deal with as well as plastic family. Um, so now I was heading to my late teens and early 20s, is then when I realized that people are finding it a lot more easier coming and just chit chatting about what they're going through and solutions are coming up. And they many times I've heard them saying, "Well, Aarti, thank you so much. Felt really nice talking to you." It's like, hmm, okay, so where does this link me to psychology? Then I read more about it, kind of did my research on that, kind of get into uni and stuff, and so I studied that. Then I came across life coaching after a few years. So as I was doing my life coaching, during was teaching therapy, she one thing card NLP is neuro linguistic programming, which where it's like life coaching was to help rewire your brain into new habits, you will see, bringing in a whole new lifestyle. Uh, so I was doing that. She did encourage me to look more into Reiki because it's something that is now opening up. So I decided to now really do it professionally. So if I'm going to look at all the skills that I'm put in together, and when I really began doing this professionally, it's been almost 20. Almost up to 20 years. Yeah, that's incredible. Don't go guessing what my age is then. But I'm just like, okay, I was 7. Started doing it professionally. Damn. Almost certainly. So I'm happy with all the experiences that I've gone through, the feedbacks I've gotten from people as well. It's been quite enriching. For myself personally, of course, then having to do therapy for others, I had to understand what it meant to get therapy done. So I had my own counseling sessions when I was in uni. I had Reiki done on me as I uh after studying it, and I did a few practical uh, scenarios when I was doing my NLP coaching classes as well. So all that I now provide and I offer as a service, I have done it. So rather, I was the guinea pig in my own experiences and then sharing that. I actually really like that. I think it's really important and it's a good way to understand how to practice it because anything in life, it's always one thing to do it in theory and another thing to do it firsthand, right? So I actually did one of my first bar sessions on Aarti and like my first facelift on her, and I saw how she practices bars. And I did take a few tips, very honestly, twisted it around and made it my own to what suits you and yes. And I think it's all part of the experience where you understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you, but then it's important to understand how the practice goes and what can happen and what can't happen. Like I think also from our therapy sessions, I've learned how to communicate with my own clients. Maybe not the terminology because I am very informal when I talk, I'm very like straightforward, but to a certain extent, like just knowing what to share or, when it comes to reactions, because also in Reiki, you do have reactions when the releases take place. How to be explaining this to your clients in a way that doesn't scare them or get them to a state of fear. So I think it's really important to understand as like a student or as a dummy and then like so you know what exactly you're getting into or what the other person who's sitting on the other side could be feeling at that question. I guess when I started access bars, when you learn about access bars, you learn about okay, release it, right? And so I was like, if I want to release my doubts or like I still am very hot headed, but like release any like anger I may have or anything that I'm holding it. And I got to a point where I released so much and I was feeling empty and I was not able to understand it. Because like I was just feeling really low. I was always hungry and eating and I was like, why is this happening? I'm not understanding until I realized, okay, there's something you're doing wrong because um you can be releasing, but you should always be in a space of receiving. So I have now changed the way I do my sessions. So when we do the sessions and we do the clearing loops, it's always okay. We are releasing this to embody this. So it's like again, there's always that balance that okay, this is gonna be released to create space for what we need.
Yes.
And I feel like that's brought such a big shift in myself. Like majority of my clients, where they're like, oh my god, I feel so calm. Like for example, we release mental clutter or release shame to bring in more confidence or like body
Yes.
positivity
Yes.
or whatever it may be. And I can see the shift for my clients as well.
Yes, true. So every session, even with the same client, has always been different because everything that comes out is very subjective to whatever they might have been experienced at that time. So what I explained to them was we go through in a session always reflects back to what they're actually living at that time. Not linking it up to the previous, but to learn to the rest.
I guess, sorry, the last one and then we'll move it. I guess that's what energy is like, right? Like energy, like life experiences, is always changing. And so no session will be the same. Or when you go for a session and you take a longer gap, I've had clients coming to me and they're like, okay, but why hasn't this come to fruition or why isn't this working? And I'll just say, okay, but you've also been inconsistent and like life experiences, things continuously happen. And so even when you have blocks that we are uncovering or releasing, one block might be here and one block might be there. And so we're just cutting it down.
Yeah.
Not everything is equal. And so it all takes time. So I'm her student. So I know this. What exactly is Reiki or energy work or access bars?
Reiki actually meaning the universal light force that's available to us. So as a Reiki practitioner, I actually don't use the objects. I use what's coming through. I channel that energy into helping the person heal through whatever it is that they are experiencing, they need to work with. It works in its own way. You may be feeling that you have a headache, but the root cause could be an imbalance in your stomach. So when I'm giving Reiki for the headache, it will actually even flow into your stomach to actually heal from the root cause.
Okay. What's channel?
Channeling, it's more like being a conduit of that energy. So that's Reiki. Access bars is again another energy healing modality where you're very subtle type of acupuncture, focusing, yes, touching only on different points around the head that help us that have not to that, but that hold energy of different aspects of your life, believing that it's not only energy of this life, it's also past life. Many from your previous lives as well. So they all overlapping several points. So when we as the practitioners have a combination of points where we hold on, we're releasing that. We're releasing energy that's not good for you or that's holding you back. And then opening you up to more positive energies. And that's why I say earlier that when or the profound transformations I've seen are when I'm integrating Reiki and Access Bars together in sessions. Because Access Bars are helping us to release more and Reiki's filling us in with the positive energies. So it's always really magical when you see.
And where does the coaching part come into this?
Right. So here we are in a session where I've done your clearing, I've refilled you with the Reiki energy, I've done the energy part of it, but you don't know where you stand and what you need to do when it's happened. And that's now where I bring in the coaching, the counseling part to help you understand what cleared out, what could have been the reason for you, like the mental factor, what could be the reason for you, the anger, the maybe low confidence, anything that you're feeling, what could be the reason for that? What have I refilled it up with?
Yeah.
And what can you now work with yourself rather than to be consistent?
Wow, that's That sounds like a full-on package, and a real investment into each and every client. And this is how you hold each and every session. How have you felt the shift when you've transitioned from doing them as different services to integrating it?
Okay, so it's not always an integrated sessions. You can I do stay offer them as separate sessions and as integrated sessions. When I'm looking at having given that option transition and giving them the option of the full session that's and it has brought them a lot of deep feeling of being themselves. Okay. They really feel the shift, they feel the change. They've been confident enough to keep up with the consistency of whatever has come through during the sessions. I see you the living example here.
You heard it from the expert.
Yes.
There's also something that I wanted to mention that I talked to my clients about. So I started offering, like, if someone comes to me with a problem, then we work either on like a tarot card reading followed by a session to guide it if they're not sure what to start working on, or a tarot card reading followed by candle work. So this is how I believe in all the work that we do, is that there's a lot of work or clearings that we can do, but also consciously your client has to be taking steps to do it.
To benefit. But you don't know where you stand and what you need to do when it's happened. And that's now where I bring in the coaching and the counselor part to help you understand what cleared out, what could have been the reason for you. Like even in Reiki, as I do it, it does work out that I'm clearing out what's not needed and then filling in the Reiki energy with the intention of what the client needs. There is a change there. Yes. But when we add on the access bars, giving an energy to you, because I felt the shit like that. This makes sense. And that's why I really prefer the integration is really good.
Even when I do my access facelift session or my bar session, there's a lot of growth in it. Like I feel personally, even as a practitioner, my mental clarity has improved, or the way I like to host sessions from where I began to where I am now. There are lots of integrated modalities that I do. And also just generally in life, like how what I practice has shifted the way I see life. Like there's a lot of mental clutter that has reduced, or the anxiety or coping with anxiety, right? Because I believe that's what the bars do, that again, consciously you have to make the decision to make different choices, but sometimes you may not have the mental capacity to follow through with these choices. And that's what I feel the bars also help you with.
They do.
And my guinea pig, she's my guinea pig for everything that I do. And how did you find the bars or the facelift? Because she was one of the first people to do the facelift.
Yes, we did the facelift, and it was an amazing experience. Very soothing, relaxing, of course. You just want to go and just have a good time for yourself. So yeah, but overall, after I came back into the actual world, if I put it that way, there were times. There was one very specific time after that session when we had the facelift where someone was asking me, "Have you put on makeup?" And it was very nice saying, "No, I have not put on any makeup. I am as I am." So it gave a good feeling to, yes, energy work, especially if we're looking at Access Bars itself, it does make a difference.
And did you feel like lighter in your body?
A lot,
How
yes.
was that? You had also come in to test the quantum before I released it. How was that? I remember that it took you a while to reach out again to tell me the differences. If I wasn't mistaken, it was like 3-4 months after the session. So again, like the quantum jump doesn't happen immediately, but could you tell us a bit about that?
So we're looking at your quantum healings. What shifted was how I adapted and how I chose to respond differently to different situations that were happening in my life that time. Situations that I assumed or anticipated to have been coming up the same as in the past, where it would trigger me. But this time around, it did change a lot. And I did not per se see the differences immediately, like you said, but it came out with time. And after a few weeks is when it made me feel like, yes, I am seeing a change. I am responding to this differently. Not the setup. I could say the ripple effect of a response changes the whole environment, the whole situation that I find myself in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the other responses that I got in terms of feedback was, for some clients who actually only came for one session, was you hit the trigger and then it became a ripple effect, right? But like that instant trigger was from you because someone had come in for a facelift and then they weren't very confident in their body or whatever. So after the initial one, she said, I started changing my diet and my nutrition or my how I was exercising. So she didn't come back to me, but she's like, this was the thing that triggered me that, okay, now I need to start taking care of myself. I need to start putting myself first. I need to look at how I'm handling situations. So sometimes it's not that you come for a session, you get instant results. You need that consistency, first of all, for any sort of healing. But sometimes you just need the initial nudge to either make the difference or to realize that, okay, this is a problem that I need to work towards.
Yes. So that's why, as I said earlier, energy work, like Reiki, it does not probably sometimes just work on the surface cause, although the symptom itself, it goes all the way down to the root, and then you see that ripple effect throughout your entire life.
I think that's also like talk therapy. I know talk therapy doesn't help for everyone, so I speak from my own experience, but like even just now, whenever we had a session, it's when you look back and then you start seeing, okay, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, a month ago, my last holiday, I was handling things differently. So sometimes the results are not instant. It's when you take a look back and you look through the rear mirror and you say, okay, things have changed. Like gradually it's changed. And that's the thing. Like I feel like life is so fast paced that you're constantly looking for immediate results. And the reality is that that's not the case. And that's where a lot of anxiety forms, right? Like the comparison and then just the fast paced life. So expecting faster results for anything that you do.
Yes, that's true. And so as with any healing that you do, that's like you said, talk therapy, the counseling, the coaching, energy work, any sort of healings that you go for, important thing is how consistent can you stay? How can you honor yourself? What do you want out of it? So you honoring yourself to be as consistent as possible so that you can get the results you are actually looking for.
So Aarti, I'm an energy healer, so I know that energy healing works or like Reiki works, but does it really work? Let's show our audience.
It does. We all are energy beings in a sense, if you're looking at it. We're all energy beings. So what we can try is do a little experiment to see what it actually feels like.
Okay.
So please, if you want to try it, put your hands up together, close up, and put your focus and feel something within the palms of your hands. So bring them a bit closer, and then very gently pull them apart. And a bit closer again. Do that a few times until you feel some sort of a magnetic feeling, like you're pulling and pushing some repel. It's repelling. It's attracting.
I can feel the heat.
Yes, plus the heat. Yes. All that actually is the Reiki energy.
Very cool.
Cool, isn't it? Yes. So we all have that in us. It's just that as practitioners, as Reiki masters and teachers, our channel, the amount of energy that flows through us is more than a normal average person.
Okay.
And that's why we're able to pass on that energy as healing to others.
So I guess that's why it's important to get like a Reiki certificate, because even if it's Reiki level 1, which is focused on practicing for yourself, it helps to open the channel. So even if it's just self-healing, it would still work a lot stronger than if you've not done it.
Yes. So to receive a certificate or to have the ability to channel that energy, we go through what's called an attunement. That's actually opening up the channel more for yourself. So yes, when you are even in the Reiki level 1, like I teach it just for self-healing, when you're doing that, you've actually opened yourself more to allowing more of that energy to pass through and to heal yourself.
Yeah. I think whenever I talk to anyone about attunement, I always use the example of a stent, like in the heart. You know how like it's so narrow, and then sometimes you have to put in a stent, so the amount of blood that goes through is a lot more. So it's the same way with attunement, where a stent, energetic stent, has been placed. So your ability to hold energy or to let it flow through you or facilitate in healing, of course, we're always facilitators, increases, right?
Definitely, exactly. That's a really, really good analogy you used.
Yay!
Nice way of opening up your channel. So let's see what comes up for you guys when you try and experience this by yourselves.
Yes. Okay. So in our generation, what do you see most people that come to therapy for? What do they come for?
Oh, wow. Many things. Should I go back from COVID again?
Up to you.
Because I know since COVID, what has really triggered most people and what they're showing a lot about is anxiety. Yeah. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of doubt about where they're heading to, uncertainty. So if you're looking at your generation, younger generations, even older ones, in fact, it's a very widespread issue that people are dealing with. So people have come to me for that. Now, even for you, now when you came to me, what was it in 2022?
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of confusion. There's lots of anxiety about how you wanted to now move forward. And what we have worked through with you intensely some days and some days trying to make it light. So you can see how it has helped you feel more empowered. You feel more confident about yourself.
And your like
Yeah,
my decisions that I make.
Yeah. Do you see how you have? Remember the times when you were confused about should I decide on this or should I decide? Right? You're like, yeah, okay, this is the with it. So the options I have, and you're deciding. So you deciding about what you want to do is they're getting more easier in that sense for you. Look at the way you've grown about wanting to learn. Okay, I am good at this. Your talents, whatever you like, whatever your interests are, you're now progressing ahead to wanting to focus on that, wanting to become more better at it, get yourself certified in this. Like, look at Access Bars. You really enjoy doing that. The facelifts, you can see the difference you are going through. Even when you yourself, you are talking to your own clients. When I move back even 6 months from now or that year or just at the beginning, there's a different Bali that I see today. The shift of who you are then, and therapy has really helped. Yeah. Not only you, even you guys.
It helped me. Yeah. I will never deny that because like I'm always a pro therapy person. But thank you.
The goals that I have is to empower people who come to me, not to get dependent on this alternative healings, be it life coaching, be it Reiki, not to use it as a means to cope with what you're doing, to heal through what you, but not to become fully dependent on it. So it's nice to see that you're empowering yourself.
So something that you mentioned that I've picked up on is like, not verbatim, but the importance of having a good therapist, right? Like, again, that varies what a good therapist is. But how does like someone's experience with therapy vary according to how compatible they are with their therapist?
That's very interesting that you've brought it up because it's very important. So being a good therapist, a good counselor, a good healer, how do you know someone's going to be the one to help you through your healing journey? There are a lot of aspects, yes. So as we look at the criteria for a really good fit therapist, any professional, one thing you have to ask for and should not feel guilty about is asking for their qualifications. What certificates do they hold? Are they accredited? Where have they gotten the certificates from? Is that institution a known institution? So it's very important as you look at how compatible you are with your therapist that you have to also look into their qualifications.
Okay.
Yeah. I do give. So being a good therapist, a lot is looked into. What, as a client, would you want the therapist to be like? What are they offering to you? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel validated? Do you feel supported? Do you feel you have been listened to? Yeah, it's not, for myself as I work, it's not truly about just following a rigid set of rules that this is how it's supposed to be done. I am flexible enough knowing what my client needs at that time for a particular session as compared to what they would need for a different session.
Yeah.
Like us, when we are talking and when we have a session, sometimes our sessions go beyond the hour that's always allocated. I would not want to abruptly stop you and say, okay, Bali, time's up. We need to stop. I'll let you finish what you're doing, what you're saying and what we're doing, and then wind up. Yeah, to give you the space because every client, their needs are different. A client can come up. I have a counseling client who sometimes just takes 45 minutes and she feels a lot more calmer, a lot more held. She's listened to, she's vented out. And we're okay. We're good with that. Okay. So different settings require different
approaches.
Yes, you can say approaches. Different therapists coming up with what you need.
I wanted to share my own experience. I think you know exactly which experience I'm talking about. So, about 2 years ago, you had asked me to get the ADHD test done. And I approached a second therapist who took me on quite a ride. And it wasn't just a ride. I think they made me spiral even more than I was, because they said, you know, before we do the test, you need to make sure you do your anxiety test and you do this and this and this. And they prolonged it. And in it, I just felt like the opposite of everything that you said. I felt invalidated. I felt like I constantly had to explain myself to the therapist or like justify why I'm doing things. They actually told me, oh, Bali, like, everything keeps triggering you, right? And I think, fortunately, like, I had this therapist on social media because I known of them from quite a few years ago. And so for me, I thought that's a form of validation or like reliability or comfort. And instead, during the session, they told me, oh, you know, you talk about this, but that's not the case. You know, you talk about the release or the energy healing, or not the energy healing, you talk about the release or like the tiredness you were feeling, because my purge initially when I started therapy was crazy. And I just found it so invalidating that I just called them one day and said, you know what, like, this is not working, and just completely just ended it on the spot. And I guess sometimes when I look back, I was like, what did I do? What was I thinking? I wasted so much money without knowing what it is. So how quick can you know when the therapist is right for you?
So just let's assume it's a well-known therapist, well-known healer, doesn't make them the best for you. Yeah, it's not. Yes, they have the skills because they've gotten the experience. They've gotten clients who have felt the change. Maybe for you, they're not the best fit. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with that therapist. You guys just don't fit.
Work. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're not any other therapist. They are. There's so many. Like, I've always believed this is abundance. If you need something, you will get what you need. Yeah. So if you need a therapist to help you through a certain part of your life that needs that help, you will find one. Yeah. I think the most important part here was to understand what it is that you want out of this therapist. Are you feeling that you're being heard through this? Are you feeling validated through this? To see if the therapist is actually giving you what you need in that space. Yes. So I won't break it down and say, okay, within a session, you can know that this therapist is meant for you.
But for some people, it can be, right? Like, instantly you can know, and it's better to just stop the sessions there than prolong it.
Yes.
Or you can give it a few, and when you feel like, okay, it's been enough time.
It's true. That's what I'm saying. I'm not breaking it down and saying, okay, it's just within a session that you can know. Some people, yes, within the session, they will not feel the click and they get put off with therapy. Don't feel demotivated. Don't feel that there is no help. There is. Maybe this therapist did not help you out. This counselor did not help. There are more out there. Yeah. Just reach out. There are many, many out there that will help you. Yeah. If one session did not help understand who your therapist is, do a few more and find. But I do believe there's always one who is going to be there for you.
Imagine I'm looking behind you and there's like a massive green orb.
Thank you. Yeah, there's always one around. Like, thank you. Could be someone helping me out.
So look, even he's proud of us. He's like,
oh yeah, good going. And I like the way the place that you've put it here, because it's always blessing. Yeah,
I've seen you more active on social media than before, and you recently started a new series called Lessons from My Clients. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Right. Yes, that was very exciting to have started off with. During my sessions, I realized how there were certain themes sometimes that were spanning out through the different my different clients at that time.
Yeah.
And I'd be like wondering if these people needed support in a particular theme, that particular problem that they were going through. How about people who have not yet reached out? How do I also share out that there is hope, that there is support for them too? And that's how I started off, just writing little short snippets and a little explanation of all these themes that keep coming up throughout my sessions with my clients. And the good thing is I've had good feedback from them. They feel very supported, even those who are not taking the sessions with me. Even random people down who have
come across your page.
Yes, who have even some have come across, some have what is it called, like following my page. They also give me some really nice, comfortable feedback. I feel comforted, so I'm sure they feel that helped too as well.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to understand that therapists are also human. They also go through their own things, and this is also bringing in that aspect of, I'm also learning as a therapist. It's not that you're a professional or you're such a big expert that you're putting yourself on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I'm just going to disclose this, that like starting therapy is always difficult. I don't think anyone knows this, but it took me 4 months to call Aarti. I had her number on my phone for 4 months before I picked up the phone and said, okay, I'm ready, and I'm ready to commit to this journey. So I think it's really important for you to have also put yourself out there, because, again, finding a compatible therapist is really important.
It is.
And speaking of clients, what does it feel like when your client goes through a breakthrough? Like whether it's from like your counseling and therapist point of view, or whether it's like an energy client who's come in and told you, okay, so this changed or this shifted. How do you feel?
It feels truly nice to know there's a deep satisfaction, a deep fulfillment from within, where I feel that yes, I've done my work. I'm living my purpose. I know why I'm doing this, because I look at you.
I feel so happy for you.
Yes, that every time, even when we've had our sessions and towards the end you go like, yes, so this is what it was, and it was this making me feel so and so, and it was all making sense to you, and then you're able to move forward from that
situation.
space, from that loop. So I feel very encouraged and very motivated and very satisfied that yes, I know what I'm working myself at, and I'm seeing it change in my clients' lives for the better. So I feel very deeply content when that happens. Yeah. It's just so, it's so warming. Like I go home with a glow on my face and like, yes, it's been a very worthwhile day today. Yeah. That's how it feels.
This is not related to the questions that I sent you, but it's just at the top of my mind. And I feel like when I got into therapy, you slowly go into, I guess, spirituality when your channels open, or you become more aware and conscious. And I feel like that helps you tap more into manifesting what you want. Could you tell us a bit about how that journey works, or how you believe there's a link?
Yeah. Oh, yes, there is definitely, because being in this space, being in this universe, everything is linked together, and what we think out, again, coming back to the scientific evidence I was saying, when we think a thought, it's a wave, it's a frequency. So when we're thinking of, I want money, so I want a certain amount of money. So I'm bringing out a wave out into the universe that I need this amount of money. Now, it is for us how deeply we believe that we will receive it, for the universe to give it to us. Our doubts of confusion, anything that makes us stop that thought process, will delay us getting what we want. So in terms of spirituality, it's linked to how we think, how our thoughts come out. So what happens in therapy as well is that both, if we're looking at life coaching and energy work, we are releasing out the blocks, releasing out things that help you open yourself up. Yeah. When that releases out and you're opening yourself up to exactly what you want, you're raising yourself. So the idea of manifesting what you want out of life, want out of the therapy session, becomes a lot more easier. So if we're looking at wanting that car, or if we're looking at wanting a certain type of a job, you're doing the inner work to release the blocks so that you open yourself up, raise your energy, fill yourself up with more positive routines, more positive way of thought. Your mindset changes into that support you to manifest all that a lot more easier. And I think that's where the quantum leaps happen. That's where how the quantum healing, the quantum physics that you want to focus on later on. That's how it comes through.
Speaking of vibration, something that I've picked up on is that people believe that you always have to be high vibrational. High vibrational is seen as always being happy or joyful or grateful, which you should be. But then whenever it comes to thinking about things that are considered low vibrational, which is sadness, envy, rage, they kind of want to turn it around and say, no, I should be high vibrational, right? And while I understand that, I also think that can be very toxic because it causes you to neglect your emotions. I'm going to use Aarti's terminology and her her theories or the way she explains things. But whenever I talk to my clients, I always say everything sits in the root. And so when you bottle everything up, it all sits in your body and it's stuck. And when you start neglecting, or if you don't actually appreciate or see these emotions, they end up getting built up in your system.
They do.
So rather than feeling high vibrational, you kind of still stay low and you're covering it up. And then that adds like another layer of things to work on. What are your thoughts on this?
So when it looks at the low vibrational emotions versus the high vibrational, so to feel even those high vibrational, it's okay to feel this. It's okay to feel the energy. What happens, you holding it up and then putting it aside is not going to help you either. So if you're going to hold it and feel them, then what happens, you understand what it means. Then the body's like, I don't want to keep feeling this. I want to change. Then you start doing ways of how you can grow into the high vibrational emotions. So to feel the anger, you feel it, and then you start looking for spaces and ways on moving yourself out of it, healing through that into feeling happy, loving, like all the other high vibrational emotions that come through. So we're not saying that we have to neglect it. We're not saying that you cannot
feel two things at once.
Energy-wise, what happens is once you start raising your energy, after you've felt the low vibrational, they actually do fall off. Because you're raising your aura vibration, you start being in a space. Like if you look at the enlightened beings, the gurus, or people who really are doing the inner work, you see they're a lot more calmer because they're not having the low vibrational emotions taking over. Their full aura is at a high vibration. So even if there's a low vibrational energy emotion coming through, it'll still fall off. It cannot stick with the high vibration that they are at. But in the healing process, it's nice. You'll feel the shift. It's okay to feel the low vibrational as you're healing through it.
So you have to heal through it to be able to release it. Otherwise, you're just basically lying to yourself. Currently, what are you most grateful for as an individual, for yourself, and also for the work that you do?
I do. Okay, let's start with myself. What am I grateful for myself? A lot of things that I'm grateful for. My life experiences, all the hardships and the beautiful moments, celebrations, and each and every moment has helped me become who I am. And I'm still growing into trying to be a better version of myself. So everything, I'm truly grateful for everything. I give a lot of credit to my family. They have really supported me through this. They would not know half of the things that I went out learning, and they would still be like, okay, you're interested in it? Okay, fair enough, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So there's always been that support. Even now, with anything that I do, there's always been there. Silent support sometimes a loud support. They've been there. And of course, the universe, God, just the whole sense of spirituality just out there that has really, supported me as I've grown into this space. I'm very grateful for that.
And your community, I'm sure, all the different clients.
My clients. Oh yes, of course. How could I forget you guys? Sorry. Without them, there would be not me in this professional space. Yes, they have given me their trust. They have, some of them blindly just let me guide them through whatever they were doing. Imagine the trust you had in me to now sit here like you are. So I am very grateful for you all.
So you said you've been in the industry for about 20 years. What's one thing you wish you could have told yourself, or you'd like to tell yourself when you first began?
When I first began, that
like professionally
to be patient. It all works out. Those who are meant to connect with you, those who you're supposed to hold this space for, will eventually come.
Okay.
It will work out at the end. Your purpose for being in this space, for healing people, for supporting them, for facilitating their journeys into becoming who they want to become, will be fulfilled.
Okay.
For real.
And just one last thing, what would you like to tell your younger self?
Interesting, yes. My younger self. Let me make her sit down here. And she's very loved. And it all works out as it's meant to. There's no need to worry. It's all going to be well.
And it is.
And it definitely is, yes. A lot more grateful for how it's all panning out, a lot more present at who I am becoming. Yeah.
I love that. It's all about the becoming, right?
The becoming of
you never become. It's always growth, and you're always growing.
Yes. So there's always more potential. There's always more space to keep being better and better at who you can be.
Well, thank you so much, Aarti, for being here. I'm getting all teary because I will never, like I said in the beginning, will never stop talking about therapy or her as a practitioner just because how much she's made a change in my life. And yeah, today you've spoken to the expert and the professional and the person who has shifted my life. I've had so many people come up to me and say, wow, you really changed. Like, I met one of my friends from uni when I'd gone to India, and she's like, gosh, like your whole energy, like everything's so changed. Like before you used to be like so stressed out in uni and used to walk around with so much heaviness and just confusion, and you know, you'd walk around with so much on you, and this time you're just like,
it's flowing.
Yeah, it's like therapy, you know, if you have a good therapist and you actually put in the work,
yes,
it's worth it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you need to also be putting in the work consciously, but coming back to it, like, I am so grateful, and it was because of this journey that I've started the pod, and I took my leap into, you know, spirituality and healing modalities to support others, not to heal them, because at the end of the day, you are a practitioner. You're there to support someone else's healing, but they do the hard work.
Yes, true. Like, I keep even, like, we worked, as we said, I even tell the other, as you do your inner work, I'm here to support you. Yes, throughout, even afterwards, I'm here to support you, because at the end of the day, it's how are we becoming better at who we can be.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's today's pod. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye.